Hello and welcome. Good to see you as always. My name is Lost and Found, and welcome to my channel. So this is going to be a continuation of the video my last video, the hiker terms. So I'm just going to jump right in and continue talking. So it might be a little weird transition, but yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps. And if you have any other questions or terms I may have left out that you want to know what they mean, or maybe I don't know what they are, please put those in the comments. I would love to know. Thanks for being here as always. Trail magic. Trail magic is when kind people set up on just to the side of the trail and bring a bunch of food and snacks or supplies or whatever and sit out during the day and wait for hikers to come through and provide us with stuff that we need. And it's really amazing and super helpful. Trail angels are people who offer services for hikers who are needing things like from town, or maybe we're trying to get a shower, or maybe we're trying to find somewhere to sleep, etc. They just help us out of the kindness of their hearts. And so they'll shuttle us, that's another word. Pretty self-explanatory. But you could also pay for shuttles to get in and out of town. And then for resupplying, which is also another kind of self-explanatory word, you just go into town to get more supplies, like food, basically. It's pretty much just only food. And then, sometimes maybe you need to get a new pair of shoes or something like that. But resupply typically is just getting more food for the next however many days you want to hike before having to stop into town again. Or hitch into town. So, hitchhike. Do it all the time. It works really well. Sometimes, though, you can't hitch in certain areas. And I have successfully flagged down a police officer, a public servant, and asked them to give me a ride. Done that 3 times, I think, actually. Works pretty great. And then we have, the normies, the day hikers, or as some people call them, muggles. I think those can also refer to, even non-hikers, in towns. Be like, oh, the muggles. They just don't get it. They're always just, looking at us like we're crazy. Sometimes they're interested. Sometimes they're nice, but, there's the people who just don't really understand trail life. And then there's slack packing. Slack packing is when someone or some place will hold your stuff, the majority of your stuff, and then you go out with just your food for the day and some water, and you hike as far as you can. They drop you off at one part of the trail, and then you get picked up at another part of the trail, and then you get to go back and get the rest of your stuff and have a place to stay for the night. Shakedown. Shakedown is when your pack is too heavy and other hikers or people help you basically lose weight and get rid of things that you really don't need. And so there's base weight, which is the weight of all of your things that are essential minus your food, because then there's your food weight. So your base weight basically doesn't include food or water. There's ultralighters who have ultralight gear. They're ultralight everything. They're usually cold soakers. And cold soaking is when you use a Talenti jar and everything that you eat is either rehydrated in the Talenti jar or is just dry goods out of your bag. So you just rehydrate ramen in the Talenti jar. You cold soak it. Or you cold soak a North side. Or, etc. There's narrowing, which is when you do a very small amount of miles to go into town, and then you stay in town. Or zeroing, which is when you do 0 miles and take a rest day. And then there's double zero, which is 2 rest days in a row. Triple zero, 3 rest days in a row. And then after that, anything after that, that's a vortex. You're stuck. You're in a loop. You're stuck in town. It's when you stay for basically longer than 3 days in town. Vortexed in. A shelter rat is someone who only uses shelters. I think it more applies to the AT because there's so many shelters. But someone who only uses shelters, they don't carry like a tent or, whatever gear you use to sleep in. They just have like a sleeping bag or a pad and a sleeping bag, and they stay in shelters only, so they just shelter hop. They never camp on trail. Or maybe the cowboy camp. There's the AT, and the AT is the Appalachian Trail, which is what we're doing. It's the trail on the East Coast. And the AT challenges, there's like challenges. So the half-gallon, people will say, or the half-gallon challenge. So when you get halfway, you're supposed to eat a half-gallon of ice cream. No, I did not do it. I didn't feel like spending the money on the ice cream to then like feel bad for the rest of the day. But pretty much everyone does it. And then there's the 4-state challenge, which is when you go from the edge of Pennsylvania through Maryland, through West Virginia, and then end at the edge of Virginia. And it's 44 miles, and you're supposed to do it within 24 hours. All right, and then there's a 24 challenge, which I think is actually more of like a PCT thing, the Pacific Crest Trail, but people do it over here too. I think it's more of like a trail thing in general, but you're supposed to drink 24 beers and do 24 miles in 24 hours, which I will be attempting at some point. And then, let's see, there's Massachusetts. That's kind of a dumb one, where you're supposed to only try and take 2 poops in Massachusetts because it's like kind of short enough to maybe do that. You just have to push really big days. And then there's the Tour de Franzia, which is drinking an entire 5-liter bag of Franzia within, I don't know what it was. I think it was in 24 hours, but maybe you're supposed to like do it with someone else. I can't remember. And then there's of course triple crowning, which is doing all 3 of the major trails here in the US. So the PCT, the CDT, and the AT. I think that's it. Town clothes. Okay, and then, when we do go to town and we do a 0 and we do our laundry and rest and, actually sleep in a real bed, we need town clothes. And so, town clothes and town shoes, or camp shoes. These are my camp shoes. It's usually just like lightweight, like sandals. Most people wear Crocs, but I refuse. And then, for my town clothes, I just have like a long t-shirt dress, and that's it. And so I only wear that as like sleep clothes if I need it, or usually just town clothes. So I carry it with me, and it's clean. And sometimes there's loaner clothes at places that you stay where they have like extra clean clothes that they keep for hikers to wear when they're trying to do their laundry, which is super nice. And then there's also hiker boxes, which are typically more at hostels and stuff, but sometimes other places will have them, pretty much on trail places that know, and so people leave like food and whatever in there. It's exchanging of things that people deem unnecessary or necessary. And I think that's about it. Yeah.